Hello, everyone. On September the 8th, there's going to be a Sun, Jupiter, Earth trine. Trines are lazy aspects. They give you luck and expansion and optimism, but they are not really active. Unless you do something, unless you actually act upon them, they may remain even hidden. And this is very prominent with people who have Sun Jupiter trines, because when you tell them that you are exceptionally lucky, they say, I don't think so. I think I have the same luck. And the funny part is that luck is usually not just sheer luck. Those people who seem to be very lucky are not the people who don't do anything. Although, yes, for instance, my brother, when he bought a lottery ticket, he was sure to win, not the big one, but small amounts. And when I buy one, I never win. But I really firmly believe that if you want to be lucky, you need to do something for it. You need to act upon it. You need to work hard. You need to pay attention. You need to raise your consciousness. You need to put energy and effort into something, and then you will be lucky, and other people will be very envious of you, and they don't know how much you worked. So that's very important. Anyhow, so let's take a look at the trine. I have very little time, so I apologize. This is going to be the Budapest chart, because it's on the September the 8th at 13:12, but in London it's 12:12. And since we are not going to look at the angles, and we are just going to concentrate on certain features of the chart, I just didn't have the time to rearrange the chart. The focal point, of course, is the Earth trine between the Sun and retrograde Jupiter. And out of the four elements, admittedly, the Earth trine is the one that you may utilize the best. The rest of the trines are not so spectacular. Maybe if you have an air trine, it could be utilized for studying or writing or speaking skills or language skills, but fire and water are not really manifesting, unfortunately. Anyhow, here you see the Juno-Venus conjunction, and Venus at the moment has just turned around, so it's very, very slow. So Juno is actually faster moving than Venus, but when Venus is picking up space and starts to travel its normal pace, then it will be twice as fast as Juno. So you still have this Jupiter-Juno conjunction very tightly. Juno is the first lady and Venus is the lover, and at the moment they the two of them walk together. The moon has just crossed over about 8-9 hours before the Vesta-Austria conjunction. This conjunction will be intact until November. Focus on karma breaking, destiny changing. The Aries North Node conjunction is ever applying at the moment. They are very, very close, and in the next couple of weeks they will be there. These are very slow moving things. The nodal axis goes backwards like about 3 minutes per day, and Aries is even slower. It's less than 1 minute per day. So you will have and I spoke about this many, many times, so I'm not going to elaborate. When it is exact, we are going to revisit the topic. And the Ceres South Node conjunction is already separating, since the nodal axis moves backwards, and Ceres is at the moment direct. And in between, as a sandwich, you have the dark moon Lilith, the acceptance of the curse. So that's the space-time moment. As I said, this chart is for Budapest, so you need to relocate it wherever you live. So what I wanted to show you is that when you work with a computer program, and you can actually, most computer programs allow you to set the orb yourself. And the moment you set the orb, there will be configurations in the chart, but you always need to check, because configurations by definition have to be within 2 degrees, and if they are non-radiating points like the nodal axis or the angles, you need to put it down to 1.5 degrees. That is when they are really working. And I'm going to show you here what else you can do. There's a little engine which actually is drawn by the computer program, but to my taste, it is way too wide, because Jupiter is around 16 degrees Taurus, while Lilith is at 13 degrees. So here you have 3 degrees. The quincunx is barely there. It's just at the edge of the orbis, or the that I set 3 degrees for the quincunx, and so this is wide for my taste, and so is the Jupiter Venus Jupiter Juno fixed square, again, because by the way, this square is applying, so it will be exact in a couple of days, but it is too wide for my taste. What we have here, besides this not very tight little engine, is the so-called sliver. And the sliver is made up either by aspects that don't belong to the same aspect family, which is kind of the case in this particular one, or they are too wide. Now, in the case of Jupiter, which is one of the focal points, you have a square, a trine, and a quincunx. And the trine is very, very, very exact. That's why we selected this space-time moment. And if the other participants were at the same around 15 degrees, we would have here an angel wing, but we don't, because there are no semi sextiles forming, unfortunately. And the other sliver is even more interesting, because there's a square, a semi-square, and a quincunx, a quintile. So actually, you can say that the square and the semi-square belong to the same aspect family. In a way, yes, because they are both are tension-creating aspects, but the 45 degree cannot be divided by 30, and the square can. So actually, if this were punctured, by the way, exact, you would have another semi-square here, but it's missing. But the quintile is a different family, for sure. So here you have a not very tight square, a tight semi-square, and a quincunx. I'm saying quincunx, I'm really tired, I apologize. This is a quintile. A quintile is 72 degrees, and it denotes talents. So actually, the focal point of the Juno-Venus conjunction is amplified by the fact that you have a sliver, and the sliver is a tight one-point energy where one or two objects get the most tension, and it's not closing, so the tension cannot be dissolved within the configuration. That's the sliver. Okay, here are the transcendental objects. The sun has 2 centaurs and 1 fixed star, Alcor Mizar, which I'm going to show you. And actually, I did show you a couple of months or weeks ago, but we are going to revisit it. Aphidas is a very nasty centaur. According to the myth, he is invited to a wedding where he rapes everyone, and then he gets drunk and falls asleep, and they kill him while he's asleep. So it is linked to rape, violence, sadism. And you need to pay attention to such traits in children, because you will see the germs there already. I can tell. I spend a lot of time in observing children, because I have 2 granddaughters, and I try to spend some time with them, and I took them to the playground, and I see how they interact with other children, and sure enough, you can tell which child has this sadistic trait already at the age of 7. So this is something that you need to pay attention to. And then Orcus is the Etruscan god of the underworld, and he is linked to, I told this many times, it is linked to hidden treasures, but also he's the punisher of broken oaths. And Alcor Mizar, we are going to look at it in separately, because I'm going to tell you the story. Anyhow, on Venus, Juno, the conjunction of Merlin, Hammurabi, and Hestia. Hestia is just like Vesta. It's the Greek, the more ancient counterpart, focusing on something totally. So it's the focusing principle. It's the high priestess who is focusing on some ritual in order to get some results. And Hammurabi is the law, and Merlin is the magician. On Astrea Vesta, you have Betelgeuse and Polaris. I'm going to show you this. And on Sedna, you have Buddha, enlightenment, more somnus. Didn't I tell you that they are going to throw upon us some new virus? Yes, it's already happening everywhere. The counts are higher and higher. You can find the virus, whatever the I don't know what it is. Anyhow, so they check the water, the sewage water, and you can see that these dead things are accumulating. And of course, in the United States, there are some schools, primary schools, for God's sake, where they already have to wear masks. And although there are many, many independent studies that tell us that masks are not helping the pandemic, Dr. Anthony Fauci was interviewed by CNN, and he said, yeah, it may be true that it didn't really have the pandemic, the spreading of the virus, but individually it did have. How stupid is this? How horribly dishonest is this? Anyhow, so I'm really outraged. So that's more somnus. And then, of course, the Pleiades are still there and will be there. This is the home of the creator goddess. And on Jupiter, you have Albion and Menkar. Menkar is the subconscious ideas emerging to the surface. A fixed star of is Alpha Cetus, the celestial veil, and Albion is it's an Adam Kadmon figure who is dissecting himself into 4 equal pieces in order to create the 4 aspects of humanity. So it's a self-creating dissection versus the dissecting energy of Sedna, which of course is mutilation. Read the story and you will see. Now, if we add Hygeia to the picture, which Hygeia normally is not, I think you can even put it into solar fire, but it's the 10th asteroid, and a lot of people are not even working with it. It's sacred spaces, healthiness, and how to keep your health intact. And it's important. There's this wonderful woman who is a clinical psychologist. She just wrote a book on this. I won't remember her name. Anyhow, the book she talks about mindfulness, how mindfulness can save your health, physical and mental health. It's really wonderful. Check it out. So that's Hygeia, and that's why I included it, because actually Hygeia is now opposite the Juno-Venus conjunction, and you have this strange complex planetary picture, which doesn't really have inner aspects, only the opposition, simply because it is not tight enough. You do have a sesquiquadrate in air signs, and you do have a trine and another air trine between Hygeia and Lilith, the asteroid Lilith, but it's a little bit, well, it's almost there. It's actually there. If you take a look. So that's how it is, how you can actually add things. And here is Alcor Mizar. And as you can see, it is one side of the Big Dipper where the rod is broken. And Alcor Mizar symbolizes, at least here in Hungarian mythology, symbolizes how during the cataclysm, everything got disrupted, and the axis of the earth got tilted, and we lost our paradise. We were thrown out of the Garden of Eden because the world changed forever. And Alcor Mizar is a symbol of this. And actually, it is now prominent in this luck energy that we are trying to utilize. And there's another thing here, Betelgeuse and Polaris. And Betelgeuse and Polaris, as you can see, are totally different places. in the night sky. Betelgeuse is Alpha Orion. So this is the Alpha star of Orion, and it's actually one of the brightest and most beautiful stars out there, according to Bernard Brady. It gives us unlimited success. And Polaris is way up there. So Betelgeuse is below the ecliptic, and Polaris is up there. It's the pole star at the moment. Nothing can be conjunct it. Okay, so when we have these signs, we should really use the word aligned. And anyhow, so that is the that's the energy pattern of the Sun-Jupiter trine. Try to focus on your luck and try to manifest your luck. This is what's the key, the key should be. Luck doesn't occur just by itself. You need to work for it a little bit. You need to either put some energy and effort, or ask for it, or ask somebody else's help, and that is how it will manifest. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.